Max Verstappen has faced a wave of criticism in 2024, particularly from the British media, which has raised significant concerns within the Formula One community. His recent encounters with Lando Norris have resulted in varying penalties during races in Austin and Mexico. Verstappen believes that his nationality plays a substantial role in how he is perceived, and he has been vocal about his grievances with the FIA regarding their recent decisions. With potential rule adjustments anticipated for Brazil, coupled with his 5-place grid penalty for changing the internal combustion engine, many are left wondering whether Verstappen will alter his racing tactics when competing against Norris. It's clear that the tension between Verstappen and the FIA is ongoing, especially in light of the incidents that occurred in Baku and the controversial swearing saga, which remain unresolved. However, the thrilling competitions witnessed in Mexico and Austin have demonstrated that Verstappen is willing to go to great lengths, even pushing competitors off the track to maintain an advantage over Norris as the season draws to a close in Abu Dhabi. This aggressive approach has not gone unnoticed, attracting harsh criticism from both the FIA and British media. After imposing a 10-second penalty on Verstappen, Johnny Herbert expressed strong disapproval of such racing behavior, emphasizing that it would not be tolerated while he is in charge. When discussing these incidents further, Herbert indicated that penalties in Mexico would likely not deter Verstappen from engaging in similar actions against Norris in the future. Verstappen's intention appeared to be to help Ferrari secure a 1-2 finish, which he seemed to believe justified his actions. While it's understandable why Verstappen might have aimed to gain an advantage, many people, including Herbert, disagree with his methods. The sentiment is that there should be a cleaner way to secure victories without resorting to such tactics. This narrative was echoed by British media figures like Damon Hill, who pointed out that Red Bull has not adequately intervened to address Verstappen's aggressive driving style. Hill believes that there hasn't been a moment when the team has stepped in to inform Max that his actions might be crossing a line. This criticism isn't just limited to Hill. Others have expressed their concerns regarding Verstappen's conduct, especially following the Austrian Grand Prix. Zak Brown, the CEO of McLaren, criticized how Red Bull encouraged Verstappen during his battle with Norris, labeling it as inappropriate. This ongoing discourse among drivers indicates a growing consensus that change is necessary, as many feel that Verstappen's antics are becoming a problem for the entire sport. In light of recent events, George Russell highlighted that the stewards are clearly aligned with the need for change in racing standards. He mentioned that while there are discussions about implementing rules in 2025, the majority of drivers -19 out of 20 believe that if changes are warranted, they should be made immediately. This suggests a strong collective will among drivers to uphold fair play and sportsmanship on the track. With Brazil approaching, there is a general expectation that the incidents witnessed in Mexico and Austin will lead to stricter enforcement of the rules. Verstappen, however, remains unfazed by the criticism, asserting that negativity is a byproduct of his dominance in the sport over time. He recognizes that such reactions are inevitable when one excels for an extended period. Delving deeper into the situation, Verstappen commented on the remarks made by FIA stewards and British media, suggesting that he is treated differently due to his nationality. He hinted that had he been British, the scrutiny and criticism might not be as severe. His remarks shed light on the perceptions and biases that can exist within the sport, especially regarding the treatment of drivers based on their background. Verstappen expressed his awareness of the frustrations some may feel when they can't find fault with him. Last year, his performance was nearly flawless, leaving critics with little to say. Now that there are opportunities to voice discontent, those sentiments are surfacing. He conveyed that he feels out of place in the paddock, suggesting that the negative spotlight is intensified because he is not from a British background. Additionally, the FIA has come under fire for how they impose penalties, particularly on non-British drivers. This criticism has been echoed by other competitors, including Fernando Alonso, who has been vocal throughout the 2024 season about the treatment of drivers in championship battles. The serious nature of the allegations against Verstappen, such as intentionally pushing another driver off the track, has intensified the scrutiny surrounding his racing style. Verstappen has vehemently denied the allegations, describing the incident in Mexico as merely competitive racing. He acknowledged, however, that had he found himself behind Norris during that pivotal moment, the outcome might have favored the Brit due to the superior pace of the McLaren car. This admission hints at an awareness of how close the competition is and the fine line that drivers must navigate during races. In response to the accusations leveled by Herbert, who is set to serve as a steward in Brazil, Verstappen stated that he did not act with malicious intent. He emphasized that racing inherently involves risk and sometimes decisions lead to contentious situations. According to him, every racing scenario is unique, and it's easy to critique actions with the benefit of hindsight. He remains focused on ensuring that his team can provide him with a more competitive car, which he believes will prevent such controversial encounters in the future. While Verstappen's aggressive maneuvers have sparked debate, many in the racing community see parallels with legendary drivers who have similarly faced criticism for their intense driving styles. Some argue that the nature of competition at such high levels often requires a certain toughness, a sentiment that can easily be misinterpreted as unsportsmanlike behavior. When it comes to Verstappen's actions on the track, opinions vary widely. Some believe that his aggressive style is a hallmark of champions, while others argue that it crosses the line into unsportsmanlike conduct. The debate over what constitutes fair racing continues, particularly in light of the scrutiny Verstappen has received from media and former drivers alike. Damon Hill has not shied away from expressing his support for Norris, frequently indicating that he believes Verstappen's driving lacks accountability, a sentiment echoed by several commentators. Hill has noted that there seems to be a protective stance from Red Bull towards Verstappen, suggesting that the team seldom criticizes aggressive approach. This protective dynamic can lead to an environment where drivers feel emboldened to act without fear of repercussions. Such circumstances raise questions about the responsibility teams have in guiding their drivers' behaviors and ensuring they adhere to sportsmanship principles. Drawing parallels with racing legends like Ayrton Senna, Hill emphasized that while the nature of competition can be fierce, it should not come at the expense of fellow competitors' safety. The comparison underscores the need for a balance between aggressive racing and respect for other drivers on the track. Hill's comments reflect a broader concern about the direction of the sport and the influence of top drivers on their peers. Jos Verstappen, Max's father, also weighed in on the debate, arguing that the criticisms directed at his son stem from a misunderstanding of his racing approach. He noted that the FIA should reevaluate the composition of their stewarding team, suggesting that some former drivers might carry biases that could affect their judgment. Jos emphasized that the decisions made in the heat of competition should be viewed in context, and that the focus should be on the performance and skill of the drivers rather than their nationality or personal backgrounds. He pointed out that many champions, including his son, face intense scrutiny, which often translates to a double standard in how they are perceived compared to their competitors. While Jos understands the concerns regarding safety and sportsmanship, he firmly believes that every driver should be allowed to race according to their instincts without fear of being unduly penalized based on preconceived notions. This ongoing discourse highlights a critical point in motorsport: how the rules are enforced and the potential biases that may exist within the governing bodies. As the championship battle heats up, it remains to be seen how the EFEA will respond to the increasing calls for change. With nearly unanimous agreement among drivers that adjustments need to be made, the pressure is mounting for a re-evaluation of racing standards that will allow for competitive spirit while maintaining fairness on the track. As the 2024 season progresses, it becomes increasingly clear that Verstappen is under immense pressure to adapt his racing style. The discussions among drivers, stewards, and team management indicate a collective desire to foster an environment where competitive racing does not compromise safety or integrity. This sentiment was further emphasized during a recent driver meeting, where many voiced their concerns regarding the aggressive tactics witnessed in races. The upcoming Brazilian Grand Prix will serve as a critical point for Verstappen. With heightened expectations from both fans and officials, how he navigates the challenges ahead will be scrutinized closely. The notion that certain behaviors may no longer be tolerated in the wake of recent penalties will undoubtedly weigh on him. As he prepares for the race, Verstappen must balance his natural instincts with the awareness that even minor infractions could lead to severe consequences. Ultimately, the dynamic within the paddock is shifting. Drivers who were once perceived as isolated in their opinions are now joining forces to advocate for a more balanced approach to racing. The emergence of a unified front against overly aggressive tactics suggests a changing culture within Formula One, where accountability is increasingly prioritized. Verstappen, like every top competitor, is keenly aware that the future of his career hinges on both his ability to win races and how he conducts himself on the track. As the championship battle intensifies, the stakes are higher than ever, and the ongoing dialogue about racing ethics will continue to influence the sport in profound ways. In light of the evolving landscape in Formula One, it's essential to consider how these pressures will affect not only Verstappen's performance but also the future of the sport. The balancing act of maintaining fierce competition while ensuring the safety and respect of all participants is at the forefront of discussions. Verstappen's situation serves as a case study for the broader implications of driver behavior and the governing body's role in regulating it. In this high-stakes environment, the question remains, how will Verstappen evolve as a driver? Will he recalibrate his approach to racing, or will he double down on his aggressive tactics? The answers to these questions will not only shape his current campaign, but will also set precedents for how future generations of drivers conduct themselves on the track. Ultimately, the essence of racing lies in its unpredictability, and while the pressure mounts, it is this very uncertainty that keeps fans engaged. As the spotlight shines on Verstappen and his rivals, the outcome of this championship fight will undoubtedly leave a lasting impression on the legacy of Formula One. If you've enjoyed this discussion on the current drama surrounding Verstappen, Norris, and the FIA, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth analyses of the exciting world of motorsport.